Okay, welcome back. Still on the B602 paper, Good and Evil. What we're looking at now is three concepts really. The fall, original sin, and the idea of redemption. Overview here. Christian beliefs are, by rising from the dead, Jesus atoned for the original sin of humanity and overcame the power of death. People are redeemed from their sins because he died. Now, a lot of complicated words in there, and hopefully in the process of this you'll be able to understand what they actually mean. So the main facts. Well, according to the Bible, Eve picked the fruit from the tree of knowledge of good and evil in the Garden of Eden, and this had been forbidden by God. When she did this, she introduced what we call original sin into the world. This event is known as the fall because it's when Adam and Eve were driven out of the Garden of Eden. They've fallen from grace, from their position in paradise. Now, according to the teaching of the Roman Catholic Church, original sin is the way that humans are born today, and from that moment onwards, with a kind of lack of holiness about them, something kind of ungodly. And it's different from the actual sins that people commit themselves on a day-to-day basis. Some Christians are being made in the image of God, as they were in Genesis. Humans would have been immortal, but they lost their kind of immortality when they ate that fruit. So before the fall, they wouldn't have died, but since the fall and giving into temptation, then kind of death enters the world. The actual phrase original sin doesn't actually appear in the Bible, but it is an idea that is found in Paul's letters to the Romans. Paul is a famous saint and figure in Christianity. He also explains in his letters to Corinthians, it's another section of the Bible, he explains the importance of the crucifixion of Jesus, and this is how it fits in. Jesus was Son of God, and, perfect, innocent, never done anything wrong. He allowed himself to be crucified by the Romans. He died. 3 days later, comes back from the dead, and in doing so, defeats death and sin and reopens the way to God, because Christians believe that he took the punishment that we should have as humans for our sins, which is death, and it restores his potential relationship with God again. So the key people really from this section: Adam and Eve as the first man and women who brought this idea of original sin into the world. We've got Jesus, who ultimately Christians believe saved humanity from the consequences of their sin, and we've got Paul, one of the kind of early letter writers, famous kind of Christian in the early church. So original sin, redemption, the fall, all key words that you should try and remember. Something else to remember, in Christianity today, this idea of original sin is kind of symbolically washed away by what we call the sacrament of baptism. So when a baby, or occasionally an adult, is first welcomed into the church. Also, in Roman Catholic Christianity, people can receive what we call absolution from their sins, so sins being kind of forgiven, by making confessions to a priest. So there we go. Original sin, the fall, and redemption. 3 key words that you want to remember. See you in a bit.